Hey guys, Josie here with Emotional Wisdom. So let's dive into the concept of triggers and what it means from my perception. Triggers are imprinted memories within your emotional body that recognize any slight form of sensorial memory, meaning hearing, touching, tasting, seeing, or smelling something that is essentially reliving in real time an uncomfortable or distressed experience in your emotional body. I must disclose that triggers are also birthed from extremely pleasant or happy experiences. Experiences that made you feel satisfaction, soothness, comfort, but most importantly, safe. But for the sake of this concept and video, we will zero in on the negative triggers, since those are the ones that can keep us hostage from fully moving forward in life. Triggers are sensations that were registered and imprinted onto your nervous system. Negative triggers will relive a moment in time that affected you, that made you feel any form of emotional distress that you do not want to re-experience again. Therefore, these sensorial sensations within you will surface as sudden changes to your emotional state, as feelings of fear, anxiety, nervousness, sadness, anger, irritation, etc., to feeling body aches and physical pain, or any other forms of sensations, up to sudden random body reflexes or movements reflecting the trauma you still have unresolved within you. Unfortunately, traumas that you are still being governed by and led from subconsciously. Let's think of it in terms of a skipping CD, where if there's a damaged area on CD or DVD, such as a scratch, it will skip and or freeze. That's what happens, if you will, when you suffer a trauma. It will keep you stuck in time, in which you'll be asking yourself over and over why you feel or react in the sudden manner that you did right after either hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, and or touching something that triggered you, that your mind cannot seem to make sense of or provide a complete story that the mind wants to always assign to all of your experiences. Are you one to ask yourself the following? Why can't I remember a traumatic childhood experience, but yet still experience one or all of these emotional issues? Well, the mind intentionally will choose, when the emotional distress first occurs, to sever and disconnect from the experience to protect itself, thus not storing recollection, the full experience of the incident that was the very cause of the emotional distress in which it still dwells in you. Let's recap. The mind's objective is to protect you from any form of severe threat it can't cognitively resolve. So it rejects and disassociates from the painful experience it can't make sense of for your protection and for the sake of holding self-preservation. Granted, this is not always the case. People do remember traumatic experiences. However, most can't recall a full story of a childhood emotional distress known as a trauma that oneself is still being led from. For example, it can be something so simple as smelling a cologne. All of a sudden, you feel anxiety, not knowing why, you feel such way because your mind can't make sense of the issue. Now, that reaction is a trigger, resurfacing in real time, an emotional distress that never got resolution. Then, let's say you later seek professional help and learn through the process that specific trigger of smelling the cologne where anxiety followed suit was associated to a past abuser, someone that caused you immense harm. I mean, thank God for the mind and its coping mechanisms because it helped us survive difficult and painful experiences. But, and I say that with a big but after, that it's simply a band-aid that eventually will cause cancer, so to speak, if you don't resolve the root of it. It will keep you hostage by randomly breaking out from sudden mood swings or physical aches. Here's another example of a trigger in a subtle way. Keep in mind, throughout this example, I'm about to reveal that I constantly find myself washing my hands to prevent consuming germs, dirt, or dust. This habit originated before the following example. There was a point in time where I was surrounded with lots of dust due to filing and sorting and getting rid of very old documentation that no longer needed to be physically stored in boxes. Through the process of sorting and getting rid of old documents, I started to feel sick. My throat was feeling sore and my head was aching with a fever wanting to surface after. Well, from that experience on, if I simply see dust, I all of a sudden start feeling my throat getting sore and swollen. Then I can feel dust in my throat. All this transpiring after seeing dust. Some of you may argue that I became allergic to dust, and that's the reason why my body reacts in such way. Sure, however, the real issue here is that if I wouldn't have seen dust, I wouldn't have felt like this. It took the moment of me physically seeing dust to then all of a sudden, overwhelmingly, smell and feel the dust in my throat. Also, to take this personal example a step further, even if I think, yes, if I think of dust, I start feeling the dust in my throat. This is the power of the mind. When it tells a story and my emotional body storing the experience, then reacting to the specific memory by physically reliving the experience in real time. I know many of you can relate to this example one way or another. So I now invite you to think of why you undergo through these sudden emotional shifts and or physical aches that you only know you experience. Please, if you're able to share your story below, I may be able to shine some overdue light. Thank you guys, and with complete and full acceptance, your friend, Josie.